My name is Selena Ligrano, and I'm the project manager for the Natural Yard Care program with Tilth Alliance. And currently I am heading and running our culturally relevant edible plant start program. This came about over the last couple of years when we were working with many of our partners, realizing that there was a need to kind of find some other types of food sources other than the donated seeds and starts that we were normally getting, specifically with many of our groups with different immigrant and refugee communities. And so what we did is we actually kind of met with our groups online and looked at seed catalogs to identify specific crops that were relevant and important to them and their cultures. Some of the reasons also behind this is that seeds are expensive and they're hard to find. Many of the different groups we work with actually are excellent farmers, or better farmers than I ever will be, but they come from an area where their environment is completely different. So they're not used to growing many of the different types of foods in our Pacific Northwest environment. And so this is a way that we were able to help bridge that gap and help with those barriers. We also have the infrastructure of having greenhouses where many of these plants need that extra time to be protected so that we can get them out into the garden to help them. Some of the most recent groups that I've been working with that I just delivered a whole bunch of plant starts to was out to Horseneck Farms out in Kent, which is a King County property that leases land to many immigrant and refugee communities. The IRC, the International Rescue Committee, is one of the groups that's been out there working heavily with them. And then also the ACRS, or the Asian Counseling Referral Services. They're another group that I just recently dropped a whole bunch of plant starts off with just the other day. Many of these different types of plants that we're specifically growing, a lot of people think of like eggplants and tomatoes, peppers. Within that, there are actually probably over 20 different types of eggplants. And people don't think about it, but there is specific types of eggplants for the specific cultures or the regions around the world. And we ended up finding out that there were some that were very important and particular to these different groups. A couple of the ones I just delivered was, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, an Aodamarawi, and it's a Japanese cultivar that is kind of a squatty green eggplant. And then we have one that's called Gomba eggplant, which is actually eaten for the leaf and not for the fruit. And that's very popular in a lot of different African cultures. We have the white eggplants, which are important to not only African cultures, but also many Asian cultures. And this is one thing with this program that we've figured out is there's a lot of crossover with these different types of varieties. And that's one thing we've also been trying to uncover and to be able to get this food out to more people around King County and the Seattle area. I think one of the things I'm really excited about when I'm doing this is the different types of crops and being able to find different ways to get these foods out. I love growing food, I love cooking food, and I love eating food. So it's a way for me to connect to different cultures and for me to be able to see what some of these different foods are so that maybe I can also incorporate them into my own life. And I'm learning from everybody that I share food with at the same time of the best ways to grow the food, the best ways to use the food, and then hoping to get that out to even more people that we have around King County and Seattle itself.